How good was Pogba?
I played with a lot of like Pirlo, Vidal, Thiago Alcantara. That was like crazy technical. That maybe I might put it in the 5, but Pogba was something else.
We'll get back to Rio and Kingsley Coman in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the notification button as well, just so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And also, if you've got something to say, if there's something on your mind, please put it in the comments. I read all of the comments. Now in this one, it was a little quick fun one, and this one is about Paul Pogba. Rio Ferdinand and Kingsley Coman are talking about Paul Pogba, and Kingsley Coman is giving his view on the Paul Pogba situation when he was at Manchester United, and just Paul Pogba in general. And what I would like you to think about while you're watching this is, what could have happened at Manchester United for Paul Pogba to have achieved more? What do you think he could have done? Anyway, have a think about that, put it in the comments, and also stick around after the clip because I will be giving my quick thoughts on Paul Pogba. Here's Rio and Kingsley.
Pogba. And I think midfield player, except maybe Touré. I don't know how good he was on small also area, but Pogba I think is one of the best. Like if you put him in the 5, all the skills and everything.
How good was Pogba?
I played with a lot of like Pirlo, Vidal, Thiago Alcantara. That was like crazy technical. That maybe I might put it in the 5, but Pogba was something else for me because he could defend, he could attack with the ball, he could run like without, crazy shot from distance. And skills, you know, so and celebration.
We had everything.
So he had everything. So
with a smile.
Exactly, you know, and so I think Pogba was really I think most of the young generation is like Pogba is like the 6 or 8 or this, and for my generation as well, it's like the one that have the most impact in the game, or that you would prefer to see play more than anyone.
Yeah, when I see him, especially when he was at Juve, when he was with the national team especially, that's when I saw the best Pogba and some of the stuff that he would do.
But actually I was sad about his time in Man U because I also felt like Man U was asking him to do too much. You know, when I think also his time started to decline a bit, I think he was still as good, but people ask him to score, while he's a midfield player, to do assists, to do everything. I think at one point he was even like the best goal scorer and assist man from the team. This is not what you ask for a midfield player. And things when they ask you so much, and that you can't do your regular game when you are in the middle and you just give the ball to the people, then you always need to do crazy thing. And even though he was the best, you cannot play crazy and score. So I think this was one moment, and I really don't think it was his fault. Obviously, then maybe after he could have do something. But I was really like, when you ask him too much, then was like you don't ask him what you will ask from any other midfielder in the world. So then you need to play, you know, and then you lose more ball because you need to do more crazy things. Yeah,
because they're expecting you to do so much. And exactly. You're trying to do too much. It's impossible.
The regular game where you just take the ball and give it to the guy that will make the difference. They were like, Pogba was not good today. He didn't do anything. And I'm friend also with him, so maybe I might not be the best.
No, that's
like
good.
The hardest one to.
So Patrice,
I like Kingsley Coman. He's a regular buy of mine on Football Manager. He tends to be available for a reasonable price and he plays quite well. He's never really my starting winger, but he's a good squad player who does end up playing a lot of matches. I might have someone else, like a bigger name on the wing, like a Neymar or something like that. But Kingsley Coman is a good backup. Anyway, I digress. Kingsley Coman, I don't know. I can't help but think that Kingsley Coman contradicts himself a little bit there, because one minute he's saying that Paul Pogba can do everything, but then the next minute he's saying that Man United were asking him to do too much. And I don't know. I don't think that's quite accurate, to be honest. At the end of the day, Paul Pogba came to Manchester United under huge fanfare, and he left because he thought he was the man initially, because he came up through the United's youth system, and he left because he wanted to go and prove himself as the man. And he went to Juventus and did very well. He scored some goals, and eventually the team was built around him. They gave him the iconic number 10 jersey or shirt that used to be adorned by players like Alessandro Del Piero. Now, he leaves there, comes to Man United for a world record fee, huge fanfare. Well, a lot is expected of him. It's as simple as that. And quite rightly too, because he's a very talented footballer. But there just seems to have been a lot of players at Manchester United over recent years who are very talented, but the attitude just isn't quite there. And if the attitude isn't quite there, then that talent kind of goes to waste. Case in point, Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba in this instance, and also Anthony Martial to a degree as well. Now, Paul Pogba did very well at Juventus, but I think a big reason for that was Juventus were a winning team and he had players around him, seasoned professionals that kept him in check, that were always on top of him, that made sure that he was concentrating. So he had Pirlo, he had Vidal, he had Marchisio, he had Bonucci, Chiellini, and the manager was Antonio Conte. So there's going to be an element of discipline there, and initially, to be fair to Paul, when he first came back to United, he was actually quite good for the first 18 months. But who was in that Man United dressing room at that time? Wayne Rooney was still there. Zlatan was there as well, so he was keeping him in check to a degree. Carrick was there as well. So, there was a few players still there, and Jose Mourinho was the manager. But then, obviously, Zlatan gets injured. Wayne leaves. So, the seniority in the dressing room kind of goes downhill. And perhaps Paul Pogba is the guy to be, the senior player in that team, but he doesn't live up to the standards of his predecessors. So it just seemed to me after 18 months. I remember, I think it was in Jose Mourinho's second season, we were doing really well. We were keeping pace with City, and Paul Pogba was our best player. Everything was going through him. He was doing really well. He was consistent, but then he got injured. Then he was out of the team. Then we stopped winning games, and then Man City pulled away. And then by the time Paul Pogba came back, we were 10 points behind, and he just couldn't quite get the same groove. And then he started flirting with Real Madrid and all of that. So that doesn't help. And his manager, Mino Raiola, God rest his soul, he was quite outspoken as well. So, I don't know, it just didn't quite work out for Paul Pogba when he came back to Man United. I mean, if Paul Pogba came into a squad with Giggs still there, Rio, Vidic, then it might have worked out. Scholes, it might have worked out a little bit better, because, it was almost like Paul Pogba had ADHD. And I remember the story that Wayne Rooney talked about with Paul Pogba. He was talking about like the day after they got beat by Liverpool, he comes into the changing rooms, Wayne does, and they're playing music and dancing, and Wayne Rooney just goes straight over to the jukebox or the whatever's playing the music and just smashes it. But that just shows you the difference in mentality from Pogba's generation to the previous generation of Rooney. So for Kingsley Coman to say that Paul Pogba, was asked too much of, I don't think that's accurate. He was asked to do his job, and that is to be the best footballer that he can be, and he hasn't achieved that. He hasn't achieved that. He's won the World Cup, fair enough, but that was a team effort. And Griezmann was the best player in the team. So, I don't know. Paul Pogba should have done a lot better. And the thing is, he had the ability to do better. He did. He had the ability to do it. Kingsley Coman is right in that he can tackle, he can assist, he can score, and he was able to do it. But I always remember him, he'd play one game and he'd play really well, and then he'd play 5 games after that and he'd just be average, he'd disappear in games, he wouldn't be disciplined, and then he'd get injured for 3 months. And that was quite a common occurrence. So I was glad that he left in the end. I supported him for a long time. I thought, you know, he's going to come good, he's going to come good, he's going to come good. But it just gets to a point where you just kind of, meh. So, didn't work out. You know, I hope he does come back after his ban and stuff, and he does find a club and he does rediscover a little bit of form, and he has a little bit of a renaissance. I hope that happens. Just hope that, you know, if he does come back, he comes back with a more hard-working attitude, because that's I mean, it goes back to what I say about Man United in general at the moment. Just put the effort in. Just put the effort in. Because when players like Paul Pogba put the effort in, they dominate games. It's that simple. It's there's that old saying. Hard work beats talent all day, every day. But when talent works hard, it's game over. So, Paul, sort yourself out, come back to the game, and make sure it's game over for whoever you're playing against. All right? Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think Paul Pogba was a wasted talent or what? What could he have done to improve his fortunes at Manchester United? What can he still do to have a little bit of a renaissance in his career? But yeah, if you've come this far in my video, you're clearly interested in what I've got to say, my musings about Manchester United and former players and current players and whatnot. And because of that, I am very grateful, and I really want to know what you have got to say. So please, thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.